G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well look, I'm in the office today, but this is just a quick clip just as an introduction to the John Deere 1640 series. And I bought a John Deere 1640 in pieces. Look, I got it fairly cheap, so I thought I'd have a go at it. Someone pulled it apart 4 or 5 years ago, I believe, and down in Gympie, and I believe the dealer quoted $15,000 Australian to get the tractor back going again. Now, I haven't seen that quote, that's just what the previous owner told me and one of the mechanics that was working on it. So, I've bought the tractor in boxes. It's a big gamble, just knowing, is everything there? Have any bolts fallen out of the boxes? Things like that. And so, look, it is a big gamble, but it was priced accordingly. So coming up is just a little bit of just a walk around some of the boxes with the camera, a bit of a slideshow of how the tractor got dropped off at my place, out in front of my shed, in bits, and they sat it down on the engine sat down on the flywheel, which I had to jack up and level out, and the gearbox was over rubbing in the dirt, and it was a mess, I tell you. And so look, I've now got it into the shed, and we're going to do a series of videos on the 1640 on replacing what's necessary. And it'll be things like, well, on the tractor the injection pump needs resealing. It got pulled off. They've told me that it was resealed. It's obviously not, because the lock tabs haven't been undone, so they probably meant to do it, didn't get to it. All the high-low, PDO, clutch pack, tranny pump, four-wheel drive, all that is just in boxes with junk leaves in it and all sorts of shit. The back end needs a clean out. The filter was off it, and we'll have a look at the clutch. Being a loader tractor, and they've taken the whole bell housing off, and they've actually sent the whole bell housing, the steering column and all that away to a mechanic to do up. And he bailed. He didn't know what he was doing, he said, and wasn't keen to do it. So we're just gonna in this little clip we'll just do a quick run through of just a slideshow and what we're starting with. Then over time, when you get a chance, have a look at the videos, and hopefully if you own a tractor like the videos on doing this 1640 will be the same for 1640, 2040, 2140, 3140, 2650, 2250, 2450, 2850, 3350. So a lot of the German utility tractors had the exact same setup in. There may be little variances of a different O-ring here or there, or an upgraded tube or something like that, but the basics are going to be there. One of the early videos around us that I've just completed is how to make a little tool to help you pull the clutch back apart, if you want to follow along and see. So look, please do follow along. Have a look at the videos on it. This is just a quick introduction, just to give you a starting point, so when we get the tractor going later on, better cross my fingers, when I get the tractor going later on, I'll have a reference to come back and have a look and see what we started with. Well, over here on the hoist there, I've got the main frames of our John Deere splitting stands painted, just so that so they don't go rusty and get dirty hands playing with them all the time. Then round the other side here, we've got the little star levers, or the little adjusting nuts. I blew a bit of John Deere yellow on them. I had a couple of old pressure packs that went through the flood when our shop got flooded quite a few years ago, and they really took a bit of shaking up to get going. And over the back here, there's the main adjusters. They don't get painted, no need. They're all galvanised and zinc plated. A couple of welds there, but they're not going to worry us too much. So we'll get that tidied up, and I'll pop them together and give you a bit of a look. And there's the stands all assembled. I'll shift this bit of rag away over there, but yeah, so the idea is that you can back this top one out, and there's a little bit of grease I put in on the rubbing surfaces, then this one gives you your height adjustment, and then you can lock that back down. And like I said the other week, you can turn it at 90 degrees and use it for, like on a Massey Ferguson or something like that. I've got the bolts for the John Deere ready. So the John Deere will be here shortly. This is Sunday morning now, it won't be here till tomorrow. I picked up a heap of parts for the John Deere, and I started cleaning them yesterday just to have a bit of a look at what I was up for, because it's like a lottery. And look, this needle bearing's good. There's a seal in there that's lovely and soft, and so I've cleaned this main drive shaft up, and I've oiled the bearing, and it's had it through the parts washer. I haven't put pressure cleaning on it, and I've cleaned the seal surface that was starting to rust. And with this small spline here, that tells us that this tractor has a collar shift transmission, not a synchro, and that's fine too. So I'll just take you for a little walk and show you some of the other pots. Now this is the injection pump off the John Deere 1640 that we just bought, the kit tractor, and the fellow was saying that the pump got taken off and it's had the top here resealed. Well, I thought, oh well, that's a good thing, but look, when we look at it, I don't think they've done it. This seal here is still on, and that could stay on if you just done the top seal, but he said it was just leaking out the top shafts here. But when we look, you can see that okay, the safety wires here, the lock wire is still in place. So that top cover has never been off, and you need to get that top cover off to replace these seals. So what I might do is I think I'll do that regardless. What I mean, this was left open, so I might have a little bit of a look inside and just make sure there's no moisture in there or something like that. Nothing can come and bite us on the bum later. But anyway, we'll see. We've got a spare 1640 over in the paddock there that I pulled the engine apart on years ago, and I just haven't got back to. So we do have spare parts if we need them. Right, this is over in the parts washer at the moment. Apart from this Massey Ferguson steering box housing and a Massey Ferguson shaft here, all the rest's high-low. Like that's your planetary. This fella here is your planetary, and it has the big filter canister on it, so that tells us instead of a 23cc per revolution pump, it'll have the 40cc pump, the same as in the John Deere 4040, 4240, 4440s and all that sort of thing. So all the pipes here, this is your planetary pipe, and that side there with the hub, that's your high-low clutch pack, and that has to be timed and all that. That's no problem. We have the gear stick, the top shift cover that gives you your gear selectors, your PDO control and your high-low shift control. This is your high-low brake housing. They have a problem in here. There's a piston ring in there that lets them down often. They still haven't got a good fix for that. Then this is the transmission pump. And without having it clean yet and just having a look, that seal's lovely and soft. And I'm pretty sure none of this was the problem. But being I'd say they wanted to replace all that. Now, down here, that's our four-wheel drive clutch pack, mechanical front-wheel drive. We'll pop that apart and clean it at the very least. Now here we have that's your PDO drive gear, your PDO clutch drum. Down through the back there, there's a drive shaft that goes into your clutch. All the piping needs looking at on a John Deere, it's a bit sus. Now this is what I think the main problem would have been years ago when it got pulled apart. This is our PDO clutch pack, and he said he just bought it for doing some slashing, this bloke. And then he also said that he bought it off an old fella, and the old fella had done no hours in the tractor hardly. It's got the original tyres and everything on it, and all he did was a little bit of PDO work, but all the linings have dropped off the PDO plates, and you can see that's what a PDO plate with the lining fallen off looks like, and that shiny bit there, that means it was run like that. So there's a little bit of that. This one was definitely run, so there'll be scored clutch plates with the ones with the external lugs. There'll be plenty of those scored up, so we'll have to find some new ones of them. That's a metal one, so yeah, that's in pretty good order. So yeah, we got a lot to look at there. I'm loving this. That's the four-wheel drive sump under the four-wheel drive clutch pack. So there's all sorts of bits and pieces. Oh, we come around here. These are the bolts. They pulled the injection pump off to have it resealed and didn't get it back together. This is our PDO engagement lever. That's our main four-wheel drive output shaft, and like that spline's good, but everything will get polished up, cleaned up. You've got your steering supply filter for if your engine goes out, and that's just all the bolts for the loader and things like that. So look at that, a kit tractor. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it tomorrow, and we'll get the rest of the tractor in and we'll just see how we go with it all.